Hello again, Mr. Geek. It's great to be back with you for today's Missouri State Quarterfinal Predictions. What are our two surviving teams' prospects like in the 2025 state playoffs, Mr. Geek?
Well, hello again, Rolynn.
Hello. How are
And
you?
I'm really glad that you asked
Okay.
because I can state here it'll probably be our final rolling up the river of this season or this postseason
Okay.
that prospects in the state playoffs look especially promising. A lot of the times teams will get to the state playoffs, and this year we only have two representatives, both from the same town, only about a mile apart.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And both from Festus, Missouri, and a lot of the time, whether it's Festus or uh, another neighborhood, once you get to the state playoffs is when you start running into these just prohibitively great teams, or at least prohibitively better than you.
Right.
And coming up as a 4 or 5 touchdown underdog. This year, we have two wonderful teams, the Festus Tigers and the St. Pius Lancers,
Okay.
playing their quarterfinals this Saturday, and I think both games are winnable. We'll get into, which game might be a little bit easier, which game might be a little tougher. But at this point, not only do we have a couple of winnable quarterfinals for the Dirty Dozen, but we also have some promising prospects in the bracket of very exciting things that will be coming up in the semifinal round if even one of our teams is able to make it through this week. So I think promising on both the small schools and the large schools account. We have one of each, and we're cheering for them to get through to the semifinals.
Okay. So, as I understand, the St. Pius Lancers will play host to the Montgomery County Wildcats in a Class 2 quarterfinal this Saturday, while the Festus Tigers will visit the Sullivan Eagles for a Class 4 quarterfinal, also at 1 o'clock this Saturday afternoon. Which game should we try to forecast first, Mr. Geek?
Well, no favoritism to either side,
Okay.
but I think we should try to forecast the St. Pius game first
Okay.
because the St. Pius Lancers are hosting the Montgomery County Wildcats in the
Okay.
Class 2 playoffs. So that's a game that's right here smack in the middle of the county. And I think everybody's at least thinking about going to it or talking about going to it, and it's going to be the big deal in town. So let's focus on that home game first.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. What do you predict for the state quarterfinal at Hill Valley, Mr. Geek?
I think that it's going to be a defensive game
Okay.
between St. Pius and Montgomery County, but I think that St. Pius is comfortable in a defensive tight game, especially on home turf. I think that it doesn't really matter in this case that St. Pius has had this watershed and is going into the state playoffs
Yeah.
for the first time getting to the state quarterfinals ever since 1959. Whereas normally that would be a big danger spot, like, oh, how are these kids going to react to this? It's so new. It's very new for Montgomery County too, and I actually neglected to mention in my print preview of the Class 2 playoffs that Montgomery County's kids have just as or I shouldn't say just as, I should say they're just as inexperienced, I should say. They have all the inexperience in the world in this scenario, just like St. Pius. So I don't know that that's going to matter. I know that Montgomery County has a good run defense. They've got some real hefty size up the middle. They can pursue real well. So I think that this is going to be a game where the Lancers, who have been alternating between a real old school power offense and a finesse offense and different packages throwing the ball with quarterback Evan Eckridge. I think this is going to be a game where St. Pius is going to have to open up a little bit. I don't know that they can necessarily drive 80 yards all the way down the field just running the football. But I think that Montgomery County should also have a lot of problems against the St. Pius defense. You know, one of the reasons we call the St. Pius football field Hill Valley after Back to the Future is
Right.
because not only is the setting old fashioned, but the field is old fashioned. You think of the Notre Dame field,
Okay.
where the just this tall, wavy grass that just kind of tests everybody's stamina and leg muscles as the game goes on. St. Pius is really good at playing on that home turf. When they get a lot of visitors who don't adapt to it real well. So I think that it should be a grudging game, not a
Yes.
whole lot of points scored, but I
Okay.
think St. Pius is going to pull it out and advance to the semifinals. I can see St. Pius running behind Cody Shaver, the wonderful 2,500 yard
Wow.
record-setting tailback from St. Pius on a sort of Marty Schottenheimer drive,
Okay.
maybe to seal the deal with a field goal or a touchdown at the end of the game. So we're calling it 17-13 in
Hmm.
favor of the St. Pius Lancers over the Montgomery County Wildcats.
All right. We will see. All right. Moving on to the Class 4 State Quarterfinal in Sullivan. What do the Festus Tigers have to do to defeat the Sullivan Eagles in a pressure packed road game, Mr. Geek?
Well, it is going to be pressure packed, and it's going to be pressure packed for a couple of reasons. Sullivan is a hot team. They're on this magic run in the playoffs where they defeated Vianney
Mm-hmm.
in double overtime, 29-28 in the district final of District 2, and to qualify to host the state quarterfinal against the powerful Festus Tigers. Um, Festus will be favored in the game,
Okay.
or favored to win the game, but that adds more pressure. And what's really adding pressure is that Festus will now be playing its fourth or fifth state playoff game on the road in a row.
Oh, oh,
And at
wow.
this point, it's almost becoming a farce. Like, you can't imagine that the Missouri State Athletic Association would be sort of thumbing its nose at a program
Right.
on purpose through so many consecutive road games in the state playoffs. We believe that it's just bad luck. But I think there comes a point. I mean, Festus went to the Show Me Bowl last season by sweeping through their half of the bracket, and they never got to play a state playoff game at home. The previous year they were in the state playoffs in 2020, they didn't get to play at home. So we're at least thinking here on the eastern side of the river that if Festus, or the eastern side of the river, the eastern side of the state next to the river, we're at least hoping that the next playoff game has to be at home. If the Festus Tigers qualify for the state semifinals, the game has to be at home. And the opponent for that potential semifinal game would be most likely the Kearney Bulldogs, the 2023 Class 4 state champions, and still the class of large schools football in Kansas City, or the Kansas City area. So that would be on Thanksgiving weekend, a day after Black Friday. What a fantastic event to even imagine that it would be uh, here close to us. But first, the Festus Tigers have to hit the ball over the net and win their quarterfinal at Sullivan this Saturday. So, yeah, I think that is a lot of pressure when you add it all up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Geek. Now, do you predict that the Tigers will be rising up back on the street? to the pressure with a victory. What do you think, Mr. Geek?
I like Festus' chances to defeat Sullivan and
Okay.
move on to the semifinals. I think that Sullivan has gone to uh, kind of back to the Eagles' roots with very power oriented. Once again, a lot like St. Pius has been doing, running between the hashes and just pushing you back. It was very successful against the Vianney Golden Griffins
Yeah.
and Sullivan's other opponents in the district rounds. So you've got to give him that. Furthermore, Festus was gashed by just kind of a hard-nosed running game up the middle in the district final last week against North County, although they managed to survive and win that game. But I think that Festus is so athletic on defense that if you don't do different things, like North County was at least threatening to toss the ball around.
Right.
If Sullivan can't threaten to toss the ball around, once again, I don't know that they're going to be able to drive 80 yards just running the ball against a very athletic Festus defense. For the Festus offense, they have to remember that might be one of the best defenses that they played so far this fall. Parker Perry has to stay patient. I would advise Parker Perry, the wonderful, once again, record-setting quarterback from the Festus Tigers in this golden age of local quarterbacks that we've got. Parker Perry is pretty much number one, but he's got to be patient. There have been a few times this season where I've noticed Parker Perry scramble and get to the line of scrimmage and see somebody downfield and try to zip it. It's one of the few times that he's ever been inaccurate with his passes. And I'm sitting here as a fan, I'm shaking my head saying, son, you had green pastures. Just take off and tuck it, run for 10, 15 yards, even 5 yards at a time, and control the ball against the Sullivan Eagles so that they can't control it back against you. I think if the Festus Tigers do that, play a patient and responsible game, I think they're going to win by a handful of touchdowns. We're calling for Festus 34 and Sullivan 7 at Sullivan on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, well, we shall see, Mr. Geek.
Thank you, Rolynn, so much for hosting this year.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this is probably our last video of this season, but Rolynn will be back forever. She's great. I can't believe what a wonderful job she's done hosting this year for Rolling Up the River. You were going to say.
Yes, Mr. Geek. The pleasure has been all mine, and I do thank you for the invite. I thank you for thinking enough of me to ask me to come and join you. And we have had a blast because Jumping Jack Flash, it's a guess.
We have had a gas.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you before we run out of gas on this particular video.
Sure.
Do you have any favorite teams?
12. Well, I always pull for the Cats. Always. I pull Lions, Tigers, Wildcat. I always pull for the Cats.
The Seckman Jaguars, the Northwest Lions, the Herky Black Cats. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. We got lots of cats around here.
I'm a little bit biased, and you know, the school I teach at, right? We're Jaguars, so my whole life is cats. So any team that has cats in their name, I always pull for the Cats. So.
Well, the Black Cats of Herky did win on Halloween, just like we predicted.
Yep.
And thanks to you, Rolynn. So we'll see you again very soon. Thanks to everybody for watching the videos this year.
We'll see next season. Thank
you. We will see. It's going to come around before you know it. Thanks for watching the videos, and let's win this Saturday.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon.